This is Will Page. I'm the instructional technology coach over at Thomas Starr King Magnet Middle School. And today I'm going over the process of expanding student options with choice boards. Choice boards are going to allow you to have a project or an assignment that students are going to be able to give you product that is going to allow for them to have a little bit more buy-in than if it were just something that maybe you selected. So this is going to be a process where you're taking that project that you love, but instead of just having that one end product that you give to them and they produce for you, you give them multiple options, which then allows them to really have ownership of the project and really buy in a lot more. I started doing this about 7 years ago with my students because personally I got tired of grading the exact same project over and over and over again. And so by giving my students choice, it allowed for there to be a variety of things to grade and a variety of projects for students to really buy into and have ownership on. So I'm hoping that this is something that you jump in on and that you enjoy. So we're going to go over the concepts here. First of all, how do you use this? Now, this is a Google Slides presentation. Bottom right-hand corner down at the bottom here is a bit.ly. It's bit.ly/King Choiceboard. You're only going to end up using a few of the slides to actually share out with your students, but I'm going to go through and explain all of that right now. First of all, you're going to make a copy of this presentation. So when you go to the bit.ly, you'll see it as a Kenview Google Slides presentation. What you're going to want to do is click on File, and then click Make a Copy, and then you're going to click Entire Presentation. And then you'll probably want to rename it. That'll make the presentation yours. It will not be my ownership on it anymore. You will be the owner of that particular presentation. You'll be able to edit it, do whatever you need to, which is going to be really important on the building process here. All right, now slides 3 and 4 of this presentation are templates. You're going to copy and paste the options that are on slides 5 through 9 that you are choosing and you'd like to give to your assignments for any given assignment. Now the key thing is you want to make sure that you do that because each of those links is going to go to a tutorial on a website that I've built as well. All right, now, my tip for you, limit the number of choices at first. If you've never done student choice, you want to stick to maybe no more than 3 the first time around. As you and your students get used to it, you want to go ahead and expand upon that. The reason behind that is you want to make sure you're not overwhelming your students, and you also want to make sure that the choices that you have are appropriate and that their comfort level is solid and that you and them both have a feeling of, okay, I can do this. Now, again, slides 5 through 9 are options for student choices, and then each of the individual icons that I built into this are individual hyperlinks. Slides 10 and 11 have options for student sharing and then also how to go about grading. When you're doing student choice with regard to your rubrics, less is more. You want to have a very specific idea on what the project is supposed to be focused on, but you want to give the students an overarching rubric that will fit any of the choices that you give them. Now, from there, you're going to delete anything that you don't need for your students, and you're going to be able to then share it with them, but you're going to share it in a very specific way. So what you're going to do, and I'm going to escape out of this really quick just so that we can go, so I can show you this, but in the URL bar at the very top, so right up here on your URL bar, I'm going to move my icon here, on your URL bar, right here, there's the word edit. You're going to change the word edit. You're just going to highlight the word edit, and you're going to change that word to present. When you do that, it's actually going to give the students a presentation that will then have the hyperlinks built into it. So just like you're seeing the presentation that I've created, that's what students will end up seeing as well on your end. Okay, so moving on. So this is going to be the first screen that your students are actually going to see. So again, you'll have deleted slides 1 and 2. Maybe you keep like an opening slide as an introductory, but you'll want to build into this. These individual squares are going to be where you're going to replace the student choices that again are on slides 5 through 9. Now, the idea here is you want to make sure that it's a standards-based task. You want to make sure that the content itself is very specific, but you have a vague idea of a vague a more vague rubric so that the choices that you're giving allow for students to really take ownership. And you'll want to make sure that you have a due date that's really clear so that students are able to meet the end goal and be able to set sort of benchmarks along the way. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. This is just basically a generalized rubric. Again, I'm of the opinion when you're giving student choice, you want to keep rubrics as simple as possible. Down on slide 10, there's going to be ideas for different rubrics, including a 1-point rubric, and then also grading tips. This is just a quick template. You don't have to use this. If you want to build your own rubric, please feel free. But again, the more simplified you have it, the easier it is for your students. All right, so this is going to be the first slide that you have options from. I call this the not necessarily tech options. From there, you might choose for your students to do a poster, a model, a diorama, a poem, a board game, advertisement, act out a skit, a drawing, write an essay, graphic organizer, letter, story, diary entry, brochure, and then I also have a make your own. So from there, you would just pop that in and change it however you want to. All right, the next set of options are going to be graphics. Infographics, an Instagram post, and it's not a real Instagram post, it's a Google Slides template. Same thing with the Instagram stories, the text messages. Maybe you want students to create a meme. I had an entire project that was meme based, and you'd be surprised how something as simple as an image and then a few words can really get students to convey understanding and really does allow for them to be engaged. You also might have them do a poem, a book cover, comic strip, Twitter feed, which again, just like the Instagram posts and the Instagram stories and the text message, it's also going to be a Google Slides template. And then, of course, as always, you're going to have that make your own option. All right, different video options you might want to use. Google Slides animations. You'd be surprised at how easily it is to create very quick, easy animations on Google Slides. Additionally, you may want to have your students create a commercial, a movie trailer, a tutorial video, stop motion video, Toontastic, which is a really great option for animation. Sock puppet video, you may have them record a skit. Also, going back to a poem, maybe they do a video recording of a poem that they've written out. And then also recording a documentary, and then again, that make your own option. On the audio side, right now, the two options are a song or a podcast. Hopefully I'll come up with some other ideas, or if people want to share some ideas that they have that can be added to this, please feel free to reach out via my email. And then I have a miscellaneous section, interactive timeline, choose your own adventure, coding a game, and an interactive map. All of these are going to be things that, again, you're allowing for that student choice and really giving them the options on how to engage with you in order to produce product that you want for the content and standards that you're hoping they focus on. All right, now the sharing. Obviously, there's different ways to share. The school that I work at, we have iPads. So the idea here is maybe projecting the iPad screen using AirServer and having students pull that project up. Also, an easy way to share is through Apple Classroom. Additionally, creating a Flipgrid, creating a Padlet, using a Schoology assignment where they could post that. Perhaps if you're more of a Google Classroom user, posting that through Google Classroom. And then if you are using graphics only, the Nearpod option, students can take a screenshot of an image, and they can load that into a Draw It slide on Nearpod. All right, grading again. I'm definitely of the opinion that the less you have within your rubric, it gives the students a little bit more leeway on end product, but again, you want to keep it as focused as possible. Rubrics are definitely your friend in this process. You want to make sure that the rubric is to the point in terms of content, but general enough so that it can apply to any of the choices that you decide to give your students. Rubrics do not need to be comprehensive every single detail, and they can be single point, and this is a link for single point rubrics. And you can also have both down here where it's the Google Classrooms link. This tells you how to put a rubric directly into Google Classroom, and then also how to create it in Schoology. Okay, we're going to go back a couple slides, and then we're going to move on to the actual website. Okay, so let's say you decide that one of the choices you're going to have is, let's say, the text message. So this text message, you'd click on that. It's going to open up this website. And right down here, there's a website called iFakeTextMessage. From there, students would be able to go through and edit messages. They can change the carrier, they can change the time, they can change the battery life. But then they can also set up a chain of text messages that would show maybe some understanding that they have on a concept. Going back to the choice board, let's say you decided to do Twitter feed. This is going to be, now Twitter is great for 280 characters is what they'd be using, but this here, if you click on it, this is actually going to open up a fake tweet template. So students would maybe add in an icon here. They might change their name, and then obviously their handle. Down in here, they would actually compose their tweet, and they can also set it up so that they're changing the date down here as well. So all of that is going to be super simple. Now, let's say you're looking at maybe not having tech options. All right, well, same thing. Let's say you wanted students to work on a diorama. Great. It's going to take them to different resources on how to create a diorama. So all of these non-tech options, there's a link for each of them. Video creation, there's a link for each of those. Graphics, same thing. Audio, and then the miscellaneous. So every single icon links directly to the website and allows for students to be able to do what they need. So that's really it. Choice is, I really do encourage you to offer your students choice. It really does allow for them to have a better idea of how to really go about making sure that they can feel that they have voice and that they have choice within the entire process. So again, my name is Will Page. I'm the instructional technology coach, once again, at King Middle School. My email address is william.page@lausd.net. And again, you can find this particular choice board presentation at bit.ly/King Choice Board. And then that will link you to all of the different options that you have. All right. Thank you very much. Hope you have a very good one.